This is pretty much as close as we're gonna get to an interpromotional war
Yeah.
between WWE and TNA. It's just happening over social media now. We had the two segments. One, the final deletion from TNA featuring Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. Then we had the
Awesome.
Wyatt family compound segment with the Wyatt family battling it
Terrible.
out versus
Terrible.
the New Day. Bray Wyatt, he is really like something has come over this guy because he's on Twitter now, and I'm going to go to his Twitter so I can quote him directly, but you can really tell that Bray Wyatt is on the defensive now because a lot of the thoughts that people like me, people like you have been expressing, like WWE blatantly ripped off TNA.
They
Like
did.
apparently he's been listening, and here's a few of his tweets. Love me or hate me, I am the single most creative thing this industry has seen this century. Constantly imitated, but there is only one me. Then he had, lest we forget, without Bray Wyatt, perhaps no one would have been broken in the first place. Go ahead, lie. And he put lie in all caps. And say it isn't true. I am, hashtag I am the way. Here's the thing. Bray Wyatt, I think, is phenomenal. He
Yeah.
truly is. However, WWE has failed him.
A lot. They really have.
And it puts me in such a difficult position as a fan to sit here and see Bray Wyatt saying all of these things. And I'm like, well, it could be true, but dude,
You've been
WWE failed.
marginalized.
Yeah, you've been marginalized, and WWE puts you into a position where you have to be on the defense from fucking TNA. The fact that you even acknowledged what's going on, the fact that you even had that hashtag broken on your tweet, that means you lost. And that's not even
Yep.
taking into account the fact that the final deletion was better than the Wyatt family compound segment. But the mere, whether it be better or not, the fact that you acknowledged TNA, you already lost, dude.
Yeah, that's just not good, and honestly, that really shouldn't be for any wrestler in general. I mean, we all know that there's competition out there. Well, not necessarily for WWE, but there is competition for wrestling in other promotions. I mean, yeah, WWE, we all know it's the end all be all, but that still doesn't mean that you need to like, let's just take out the interacting with the other talent from another wrestling promotion. How about the fact on how he's probably just upset on how he has had a character that was long before created, before Broken Matt Hardy was brought in, and yet people don't flock to him. I mean, dude, I mean, you have been on the roster for 2 years. What in the world have you done to even say something like that?
He's
And
been on the
to be
roster for
honest,
longer than 2 years.
well, if you want to count, then I don't even count those Nexus years. But
No,
anyway,
I'm saying like, because I remember, let me check just to make sure. Because I remember doing a video on YouTube. Yeah, 2 years ago, that was around the feud with John Cena. So at that point, he had
so
been on the roster for a while. Because 2 years ago, that was when I started to realize that Bray Wyatt was full of shit. So
yeah,
there
yeah.
was a point in time before that where he was going out there and everybody was wrapped up in every single word that he was saying, and he was having some sort of effectiveness. But we got into the cycle, wash, rinse, repeat, where he went out there and he kept doing the same damn thing over and over again. And at that point, I said that either Bray Wyatt is going to die a visionary or live long enough for people to realize that he's full of shit, or at least the character is full of
And,
shit. And we're
yeah,
at
you know
that
what's
point.
funny
We're
when
past that
you know
point.
what's yeah, you know what's funny when it came to the Wyatt family compound versus the final deletion. Let's not forget the fact that when it came to the final deletion, it was something out of nowhere. And if it and Jay, I said this last week, if it was meant to come off campy, then it worked, and it actually was
Mm-hmm.
supposed, like, we weren't supposed to take this seriously. Whereas you look at the Wyatt family compound, I guarantee you WWE was probably thinking, let's do everything that we can to make this as serious as possible to make people try to care about this feud. Like, we were supposed to take that seriously. I mean, the camera cuts were awful. You can barely see the Wyatt family, the New Day half the time, and then all of a sudden it ends flat. Whereas when you had with the final deletion, you actually had a lot of backstory that went into that led up to something for all that to even happen. Whereas this, it felt like they just randomly shot this just to have something just for that week, just to build towards a feud that not a lot of people care about.
Yeah, with the final deletion, like they actually told a complete story from beginning to end. Like a person like me who didn't even know that much about it going into it, I still had some sort of investment in what was going on versus what WWE did with the Wyatt family compound segment. Hell, I watch these people every damn week,
Yeah, and
every week,
yeah,
and I just
yeah,
sat there like, what is this? And that was a failure
yeah.
on many fronts with WWE. And I look at what Bray Wyatt is doing on Twitter, and some folks are saying that, this is good for him because he's staying in
No, it's not.
character and things like that. He's, to me, going out there talking about, oh, I'm the most creative thing in this industry. That's
No,
not Bray Wyatt speaking.
that's his ego.
That's Wyndham Rotunda or whatever the hell his name is. Anytime Matt Hardy speaks, whether it be in an interview, on Twitter, tweeting
He
out
stays
stuff,
in
he
character.
stays in character. And in the responses, or at least the veiled responses, based off of all of this talk that's going on, still staying in character. So if you go down line by line, the fact that Bray Wyatt responded, the fact that Bray Wyatt was forced into a position where he had to respond to this, the fact that the final deletion shit, it was better. The fact that Matt Hardy is able to stay in character in everything that he's doing, and Bray Wyatt is breaking character into the real person behind the persona, line by line, TNA continues to win.
And yeah, you know what's funny? I think the difference when it comes to Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt is the fact that Matt Hardy's not shackled, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not held back from doing what he knows what he wants. Like he knows what he's doing. Whereas Bray Wyatt, he's shackled
Yeah.
every single time. Like he is controlled for what he says and what he does, even though he has shown at some points to where he can be credible and he can like get himself over on the microphone. But let's just face it here. Creative is controlling him. Matt
Yes.
Hardy is coming up with his own stuff. He's the one that's being innovative. I honestly wish Matt Hardy had a creative control and impact. Maybe that might help them out somewhat. But yeah, I mean that's the difference between Matt and Bray. I mean Matt Hardy's not shackled to his ideas. Bray
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt is.
Yeah, and what everything that Bray Wyatt is saying, believe me, I want it to be true because I've been
Yeah.
such an advocate for this guy. I've written many columns on PWF Empire, made videos about it, and I'm gonna read one excerpt from a column that I wrote on PWFEmpire.com just to give you guys a sense of who I think the Bray Wyatt character actually is. The character that is Bray Wyatt operates under the objective of ridding the world of the same infected elements of humanity that caused him to be shunned from society. He employs a scorched earth strategy on a quest to fulfill his agenda, wreaking havoc on dual fronts: psychological warfare and physical harm. In addition, the eerie mystique that encompasses him has attracted a cult of indoctrinated ruffians that execute his will at a moment's notice. Doesn't that sound fucking awesome? That sounds
That's, I,
amazing. Like, this guy could seriously be in Batman's Rogues Gallery. He could be a villain on The Walking Dead, on True Detective, whatever it may be. But for some reason, within that universe of WWE, it just does not click. It doesn't. In the one moment where they start to explore what this guy could possibly be made of, they put him into a position where he has to acknowledge and respond to something that TNA did. And it sucks for
TNA.
him. It sucks for him. It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, like it's like he should have been doing this kind of stuff before all this happened, but creative has just hurt him so much. Like it just really has. And honestly, it sucks because Bray Wyatt, he is what we're probably gonna get close to Undertaker type level, which is what I've always thought of him ever since he's come to main roster. But now it's like he can't even take that role over because he's been marginalized so much. And again, they're trying to like make him into a situation like where you really need to believe this guy is out there. Like I think maybe like too much realism goes into his character, whereas Matt Hardy is just kind of like entertainment.
Yeah.
If
He's allowed to be a little campy.
yeah,
Like you said, no shackles.
yeah.
No shackles on him, man. I mean, it sucks for Bray Wyatt, but dude, your company failed you.
Yeah.
It sucks for you, for me as a fan too, but yeah, they failed you, bro.